Just to manage expectations, it's only a 5-minute lightning talk, otherwise it would be a full storm. My name is Claire Gleeson Landry. I'm Head of Investment and Sustainable Media at Goodloop. If you haven't heard of us, we basically make it easy and profitable for brands to do good at scale. We do this in a couple of ways. We do this through formats, we do this through audiences, and we do this through data. And when I say data, it's very general, but one of the ways we do that is measuring carbon from digital advertising campaigns. The internet is on par with the airline industry in terms of the carbon emissions it generates every single year. A typical campaign emits around about 5.4 tons of CO2 equivalent every single time it goes live. A pretty average campaign of, say, 5 million, 6 million impressions is going to be generating 5 tons of CO2. That's extraordinary. And to contextualize that a little bit more for you, that's around about half of what a UK household makes every year. So millions of impressions are live every single day, buzzing through the very complicated ecosystem that we've built over the past 10 to 12 years with programmatic advertising. So let's face it, it's a pretty big problem, but it's not one that we can see. And as I said, it's on par with the airline industry. 10, 15 years ago, everyone was really heralding the internet as being like, it's all right, guys, we're not printing newspapers anymore, we're not cutting down trees, we're just serving everything on the internet. And obviously, the huge amount of computational power required to get a campaign across the internet uses energy, and energy creates carbon. So so back to Goodloop. Hang on, that's gone too far. Yeah, sorry. But one of the things that we try to do is help make it really, really easy for brands to measure the carbon output of their campaigns. There are a number of companies that do this, Scope 3, who I think you'll be hearing from later on, Impact Plus, Sedara, Doconomy. There are quite a few in this space. We are one of them. And we're part of a movement within our industry that's really gathered pace over the past year or so. And we're helping brands and agencies, and others are helping publishers to really understand the impact that their businesses are having on the environment beyond just their Scope 1 and Scope 2 emissions, which are usually associated with their buildings, factories, supply chains, etc. So we focus on the Scope 3 emissions. So they're all the downstream emissions that are caused by buying advertising. And over the past 18 months, we've helped over 100 brands measure over 2 billion impressions. It's now 2.6 billion impressions. Something that we didn't really realize was going to happen. We just sort of had a bit of an idea, and then it went a bit potty. So we've been working with loads and loads of brands to measure. Measuring's great. It's really good to get a pretty good baseline for where you're at now. But measuring's kind of the easy part. And brands need to do more than just measuring. They need to measure, they need to declare, they need to set targets for reduction, then they need to measure again, and then they need to set new targets, and they need to keep on reducing and reducing. So a lot of brands have, they've gone, it's okay, we've measured, it's all good. But also a lot of brands know they have a problem, but they haven't even started setting targets for reduction yet. So there's a bit of a disconnect between what brands say they're going to do and what brands are actually doing. And so what we're trying to do is help them reduce. Measurement is just step one on this journey in reduction. So we help them we've built some tools to help them reduce. One of them is a domain filter. So this isn't a prescription site list, right? This isn't like, hey, these are the top 25 least carbon intensive publishers out there. We work with agency site lists. We've actually anonymized them here just to save their blushes. But basically what this does is it analyzes a campaign while it's live and the site list that that campaign is running on. And then the user of this tool can start setting incremental targets. So I want to reduce by 5% this month. And what this does is populates a block list and an allow list. And those get downloaded and popped into the DSP. And then brands and agencies can start optimizing towards those low carbon emitting websites without compromising reach or anything like that. So that's one solution. One client used this, I'm going to run out of time slightly. One client used this and was able to reduce the emissions of their campaign by 18% just by removing 10 publisher sites. Had no impact on their reach whatsoever. And with the release of our new pithily titled creative optimization tool, we're massive fans of Say What You See at Goodloop. We have an ad format that literally is called This Ad Does Good. We're providing users of all of our green ad tech tools that they need to radically transform the complete supply chain of their digital advertising, starting with their creative. Right now, sometimes we get sent ad creatives that will have 4 full font file types embedded, only using 12 letters of 4 files. It's absolutely mad. So this solution enables us to analyze the creative and then supply optimized assets so that they can be rebuilt and done better, so that what you're putting into the programmatic ecosystem is a lot lighter and therefore uses less data to take it across the internet. We worked with one brand. We were able to deliver 41% average reduction in carbon, which is awesome, all just by filtering their publishers and improving their creatives. This brand is mega. We're really, really proud. We've won quite a few awards with them. And in total, there was absolutely no discerning difference in the output of their campaign. It didn't affect the cost, and it didn't affect the performance, and the creatives, you could not tell that there'd been any changes. So, we basically really want to just reiterate that sustainability also really sells. Brands are going to sell more stuff. People really care. Staff really care. If you are recruiting new people into your organization, they are going to care about what you're doing for the planet. US consumers say that a sustainable lifestyle is important to them. Despite the cost of living crisis, 2/3 of UK consumers say they are happy to pay more for sustainable products. And there's a 39% uplift available for consumers exposed to full sustainability campaigns. So in terms of purchase intent, etc. So it's good. I'm going to wrap up. This is not just about being good for the planet, right? It's very lofty to expect businesses to just want to be good for the planet. What does that mean? We want to also deliver good for business as well. So when it comes to running advertising campaigns and using this kind of technology, you save money on your ad serving because you are running lighter creatives. You improve your latency, you improve your viewability. You also fund good quality publishers on the internet, if the users don't have an ad filter. But ultimately, this is all about improvements and those marginal gains that you can make at every step within a campaign's life cycle. So that's what we do at Goodloop. It's one of the things we do. We also have some awesome formats. We also have some awesome audiences. If you want to learn more, give me a shout. Let's be done.